June has been a wonderful month for theater because I've seen some of my favorite shows of this year. And in this video, in the usual fashion, I'm going to talk about all the shows that I've seen within the month of June. And if you're interested in other videos from this series, then make sure to check out the playlist below. Otherwise, let's start. The first show that I've seen in June was A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. This is a very well-established comedy. Everyone knows this show, or like everyone has heard of it in some capacity. And I think most people have seen some version of it. It is a popular high school play. It is a popular play in summer in London, full stop. So when I got invited to check out this show by London Box Office, I was just a bit hesitant because I have seen A Midsummer Night's Dream a year-ish ago and I enjoyed that production, but it was close to 3 hours long, and I think it had 2 intervals, 3 acts. I wasn't convinced that I would be able to sit through another A Midsummer Night's Dream and actually be impressed by it. However, this production has actually changed the game for me because it truly brings innovation in more than one way. If you're unfamiliar with this Shakespeare's classic, the storyline of it is very messy because it follows a few love stories. In its essence, it's a story about 4 Athenians who are all in love with different people from the group, and with a little bit of intervention of magic and fairy called Puck, the 2 men start chasing after the same girl, and then there are some additional characters that appear in the forest. Then there's also this amateur theater group who are preparing a play, and then they get intertwined with the rest of the magical things that happen in the forest. And because it's so messy and there are so many characters and stories to follow, it is very energetic and fun to watch. And the most impressive part of this show is aerial acrobatics and how it's used throughout the show to truly bring that magical world to life. So the ensemble members are not only actors, but they're also acrobats, and they are making these amazing formations. And because this comedy is set in such a magical world, it's almost like it needs something that is out of character for theater productions to truly make you believe the actors who are performing on stage. So this aerial acrobatics happens throughout the show, but then there's also a moment during the interval when the acrobats start performing in the air and they engage with the audience. And I would classify this as semi-immersive production, which is something that British theatre is known for. Their previous productions also included the possibility to buy tickets to stand next to the actors while they're performing, and I think this really adds a great layer to this particular show because it's very dynamic and people are moving throughout the show along the actors, and sometimes actors are like rushing through them. So there are so many interactive elements that make this production of A Midsummer Night's Dream much more personable than the ones that I have previously experienced. I also thought that the cast was really strong, and I really enjoyed performances by David Morst, who was playing Puck, then also Emmanuel Aquafo, who was playing Bottom. JJ Field was playing Oberon and Theseus. There were quite a few amazing performances to witness and really hilarious moments in the show. This show is closing at the end of August, so you have a little bit more time to go and check it out, and it is a perfect show to see on a summer night. The second show that I've seen in June was Hercules, and this was such a highly anticipated movie to stage adaptation. I was particularly excited for it because I'm one of those people who really likes Hercules and who has seen it. When I posted the full review of this show, which you can check out here, I realized that not everyone has seen Hercules, and I think that if you haven't seen the animated movie, you might actually enjoy the show more than people who have seen it and who love it. And the reason for it is that in true Disney fashion, this is a bold, energetic, vibrant, colorful adaptation of the story. However, transferring animated movies to stage comes with some choices and sacrifices of certain characters and maybe sometimes even storyline to a degree. So if you are particularly attached to certain characters, such as maybe Pegasus or Hades or Panic and Pain from Hercules, then you might question some choices that are done to adapt it for stage. However, if you go and see this musical for the first time and you see the story for the first time, there are plenty of things to love about this musical. For those of you who might not be familiar with Hercules, it is a story about demigod Hercules, who is born amongst the gods, but his uncle Hades sees him as a threat, and he makes him drink this potion when he was a baby that turns him almost fully human. And he's placed amongst the humans without being aware that his parents live at the Mount Olympus amongst the gods. So Hercules goes on his journey of self-discovery and and there are so many amazing numbers such as I Can Go the Distance, that is such a Disney classic which everyone loves and is such a staple of this show and also of the animated movie. So when it comes to this production, you will 100% be able to enjoy all those wonderful melodies that you know from the soundtrack. So Gospel Truth, that is performed by the Muses, and then Zero to Hero, which is performed at the end of Act 1, and it brings so much energy that you just want to jump out of your seat. I Wouldn't Say I'm in Love, which is personally my favorite song from the musical and from the movie. All these songs are such showstoppers that when you hear them, you just feel really warm and happy, because if you love these numbers, the orchestra, cast, and just the whole production really delivers in bringing them to life in the best possible way. The strongest element of this show are the Muses. They are absolutely fantastic. They work so well together. And if you ever thought of how they would look if they were personified from the cartoon, then I think that these ladies are even better than you could have imagined. They bring so much energy to the stage. They command the stage so well. But they're not the only ones who are delivering great performances. Luke Brady plays Hercules, and he is so sweet and charming and has especially great chemistry with May and Jorlan, who's playing Meg. So the two of them make a really handsome couple on stage. And then also Phil is played by Trevor Dion Nicholas, and Stephen Carlisle plays Hades. So plenty of great performances which you can enjoy, and I think this is one of those shows that you can go and see with the whole family. Everyone is going to have fun, and it might not live up to the expectations of the animated movie if that's your favorite Disney movie, but there's plenty to enjoy when it comes to this show. So go and check it out until March 2026. There's plenty of time. Tickets go for as low as £30, so there are plenty of opportunities for you to check it out if you would like to. My third show in June was Evita, and I have to admit that I have seen it twice in June because I loved it so much. You've probably heard about this show so far because Rachel Zegler is in the lead role of Eva Peron. She has got amazing 5-star reviews across the board by now because it has officially opened, but I've seen it twice in previews, and honestly I think I'm gonna go and see it again. I really love it, and if you follow my channel you know that I am partial to Jamie Lloyd Productions, and I do like his visions of especially older musicals that he's adapting for newer audiences. I think he really taps into a way of seeing this piece of theater in a completely new way, and Evita is no different. You can check out my full review here, but to kind of quickly recap what this is about, it is a musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber about Eva Peron, who was the first lady of Argentina during the late 1940s, early 1950s. She had a really interesting rise to power from moving to Buenos Aires when she was 15 and wanted to pursue acting and modeling, and then becoming a radio host, and then catching the eye of Juan Perón, who was actually 20 plus years her senior. So there are like so many different elements of the story that just make it really intriguing. And the story wasn't only intriguing because of her rise to power, but also because of what that represented for Argentina and for the people of Argentina and the movement known as Peronism. She died when she was 33 years old, but left a legacy that is still to this day talked about. So it is a really impressive story. You might have seen movie with Madonna, and this is a musical that has seen so many different versions being already put on stage throughout the years. It was my first time though seeing Evita, so I think the score and the story even resonated with me more because I was discovering it for the first time, and maybe that is the reason why my expectations were really exceeded. Rachel Zegler is someone that I've admired for a long time. I am a singer myself, and just hearing her sing and her vocal technique is something that I just aspire to sound like. So for me, going to see her in this role, there was that personal element of just hearing her vocal and her technique live was something that I was so excited about. But then the whole production and the rest of the cast, including Diego Andres Rodriguez, who is playing Che, and then James Olivas, who is playing Juan Peron, all of these three leads are incredible together. And then to take it a step further, the ensemble members are just unlike anything I've seen before because choreography is so demanding, and they are part of the show in such a unique way because there isn't a lot of set on stage to kind of like move it. So they represent a lot of the times the context that we need to understand Evita and the songs. So I think that there's a lot that is on the ensemble members to actually make the show as full and as exciting as it is. And then unsung heroes are definitely orchestra and musicians who are also on stage and who are delivering these powerful melodies. I think this orchestration and arrangements of Evita is just a powerhouse. The music sounds so good, and I'm really hoping that they release a soundtrack because I think this is something that a lot of people would love to hear and enjoy. So this is one of those shows that I feel comes once every 5 to 10 years and takes the theater world by storm. This revival feels like something that a lot of people will be talking about for years to come. In my personal opinion, and I've seen maybe 4 or 5 Jamie Lloyd shows, this is his best one yet. This is the one that captivated me the most and really drew me into the story, that the second time after I've seen it, I really needed to speak to people about it, especially because it's so energetic and the delivery of it is very much in your face. There are like so many times when people just had the need to stand up and clap for this amazing cast, because I think that there's like an outpour of energy both from the cast to the audience and then from the audience to the cast, because it is such a heightened state of experiencing art in this form. The best part about Evita is that you can catch Rachel Zegler perform Don't Cry For Me Argentina at the balcony of London Palladium every night around 9 p.m. and it's one of the most controversial part of the show, but it works really well when you're seeing it from the inside as well. So if you are not willing to pay the tickets, which are actually not that expensive, you can always check out Rachel Zegler in front of the Palladium, but you will need to power through about 1,000 people in the crowd, and you also might be shown inside to the people who are watching the show in the theater. For me, Evita is the show of the year so far. I don't know what else in store until the end of the year, but so far it's a really strong contender to be my favorite show of the year, and I would highly encourage you to go and check it out. It closes on the 6th of September, I believe, so you do still have some time, and I really hope that this revival makes it across the pond so that Broadway and American audiences can also enjoy this wonderful show and see stellar cast led by Rachel Zegler. And the fourth show that I have seen in June is Back to the Future. This is not a new show, but it is a new show to me because, believe it or not, I have never seen Back to the Future movie. And I know when I said this to some of my friends, they were like, what? How is that even possible? So I went to this musical with fairly low expectations because I don't think that I'm a person who really likes those futuristic stories, especially when they're futuristic stories from like 20, 30 years ago. But I was wrong. I really liked this musical and it was definitely something different, and audiences also loved it. I went for a matinee performance, so there were like people of all ages. It felt like it's a good family show as well. And a lot of the times when kids would enter the theater, they'd be like, oh my God, this looks so futuristic and cool. And from the moment you enter the theater, you really feel like you're transported into this new world, which is mainly due to the great set by Tim Hatley, who has really gone above and beyond to make Back to the Future feel pretty futuristic. The set kind of bleeds into the auditorium with these electric nodes. It looks like that, but that's not the only part of the set that is really amazing. Not to spoil it too much, but there are cars flying. There are these amazing scenes when they are in the car and things are moving, and there were so many clever set design solutions that really helped take you into this world of Back to the Future. Even for a skeptic like me, it felt either really funny or really impressive in terms of how it looked visually. So I think that is the strongest part of this show. On the other hand, this is a very heartwarming story. For anyone who, like myself, hasn't seen Back to the Future movie, this is a story about Marty McFly, who is a high school student, and he is really good friends with this weird doctor scientist, Doc Brown, who invents this way to travel into the future or into the past by jumping into this car and saying the date that you want to go back into. So he goes back to the time just before Marty's mom and dad met. So the storyline is really fun and very lighthearted, and it's truly suitable for the whole family, and it will definitely give you giggles and make you feel good. This musical actually got an Olivier for the Best New Entertainment Show, and it definitely has its fan base in London. However, it has closed in New York after about 2 years of running there. So it's just interesting to see how different shows like resonate differently on Broadway versus West End, because basically Back to the Future has an open run as far as I'm aware at the moment in London. The most entertaining scenes in the show are definitely with Doc Brown. He is a really funny character, and also his dance numbers and singing numbers are just crowd pleasers. Everyone really enjoy that, and the whole entrance with the car. And I was really pleasantly surprised by Back to the Future, the musical, and that might be because I haven't seen the movie yet. I am about to watch it in the next month or so. I do think this is a great show for a whole family day out. It is fun, it is entertaining, there's plenty to be amazed by. So yeah, make sure to check it out. And this concludes the list of the shows that I have seen in June. I'm still well on my track to see 52 shows this year, and I'm really excited what the rest of the year will bring. But if you are interested in my top 5 shows from the first half of the year, then check out this video where I'm talking about my favorites.